as much as this probably pains like contending dynasty managers, I think Jordan Mason is a prime sell candidate. I think on both ends, right? I mean, if you're holding Jordan Mason as a rebuilder, why is he still on your team? One, because you should have probably reached out to the CMC manager immediately. But now, I mean, he's a weekly RB1 right now. I know he went for a first in a league we playing together earlier this season. So people are going to be willing to pay up for production in the now. And unfortunately for Jordan Mason, once CMC comes back, even if he'd still if it's 60-40, I mean, Jordan Mason's not going to be a guy that you're going to want to start. So even if I mean if you're a rebuilder, he should be off your team like yesterday. But even if you're a contender, if I could like down tier, I mean, right now on Keep Trade Cut, he's RB20. So if I can down tier off Jordan Mason and get a running back that I know is going to help me for the entire year, even if it's like a Tony Pollard in a second for Jordan Mason. Tony Pollard is going to be the back for the Tennessee Titans all year. He's going to help you all year, and you still get the second on top where Jordan Mason wasn't worth a second before this year started. So I think that's a pretty good return on your investment for a guy that's probably not going to help you win a championship down the stretch unless you're one of these people that think CMC is not coming back. But I do think CMC is coming back. And when he does, Jordan Mason is going to be stapled to your bench for the fantasy playoffs for the most part. So I think you need to be smart as a contender where, yes, the points are great now, but you also got to look towards the future and be like, how can I parlay this into a player and potentially picks that may help me actually in the fantasy playoffs. So that's why I think Jordan Mason is a prime sell candidate because one his window is now. I mean, you're never going to see a I think a bigger spike in value for a running back than Jordan Mason had this year. And I think you just need to be smart with it. I think, like I said, if you're a rebuilder, I mean, if you can get any first, he's off your team. If you can get Trey Benson in a second for Jordan Mason, I think that's a no brainer as a rebuilder. But as much like I said, as much as he is helping your team now, I think you also got to think about your future playoffs and be like, hey, he's probably not going to help me in come playoff time when CMC's toting the rock.
Aaron, is this a good sell window for Mason?
It is. I mean, I think Ethan, you made a great point that yeah, I mean, if you're rebuilding, what are you doing with Mason? But yeah, I think the very interesting point is if you're a contender and he's helping you win right now, I think he's still a sell. I think he's selling both scenarios because yeah, if CMC comes back around playoff time, or near playoff time, then he's not gonna help you. So it's one of those interesting cases that you might need to just try to figure out a way to part ways with him now, even if you're winning fantasy weeks, because you got to figure out how to win without him if you're a contender too. So it's interesting like that. So yeah, I would say sell in all scenarios.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, I kind of agree. I'm inclined to agree on that. I mean, because there is an expiration date, at least in theory, to Mason. So whether you're pivoting to try to go get a different position that's a little safer, or you're just trying to get some draft picks to help in a rebuild, I think it's a great time to offload him while he does still have some value. And I think running backs in general make for really good sell candidates in season.